Johnny Just Came. What the hell is it all about? Go and talk to us.
Well, Johnny Just Came is a term used discussing people who've just arrived in Lagos, Nigeria, or diaspora, maybe in another city as well. And this show is basically about when I was invited by Azu Nwagbogu, the curator of this show. First of all, he invited my work, and then about 20 seconds later, he was like, "Do you want to come as well?" Or he said, "I want you to come to Lagos." And my immediate response to that was fear, and that I didn't want to. So the show's about me looking at why I felt that way.
It's amazing. And what inspired the idea for the show? Like, why did you decide to do it on Johnny Just Came?
Well, the trip to Lagos, so I went, but in the lead up to going, a number of different people from different walks of life, I asked, should I go to Lagos? And they were like, no, it's too dangerous. Even like the Travel Advice Bureau for the UK basically says the same thing. So I was like, well, why is this? And I wanted to look at, understanding why myself, I'd basically been to some degree in fear of sub-Saharan Africa my whole life. And so I wanted to look at the branding of Africa and why that is the way it is and whether it's true and why I felt that way.
And coming back from Lagos, what's your view of Africa now, do you think?
It's different. I'm not scared of it. I'm more, it's like to not sound too absurd, but like, my perception of it was through kind of, visual imagery of starvation, of warmongering, of young kids with AK-47s, of conflict, and, of course, music and various kind of tribal imagery as well, which I gelled that all into the show. But at large, it wasn't like a comfortability. It doesn't, friendships, communication, life, positivity, that all those really great sides to, specifically Lagos, you don't really feel that in terms of the media or the interpretation of Lagos. So I'm very grateful to Azu of the African Art Foundation and Lagos Photography Festival to have invited me.
Amazing. And last question, how did Lagos inspire your show?
Specifically?
Yeah.
Well, all the slippers on the walls, the flip-flops, I found those washed up on the beaches of Lagos. These are all colour-coded, so I've been through many thousands of flip-flops to get to this point of size and colour wave in the gallery here. So just on a base level, like the collection process of those, told a story to me in terms of my own learning, which is why I make art basically and have done full time for like 12, 13 years. It's like a personal development course where it's like I'm as much the therapist as the client. And, in the case of the collection of these slippers, what started off was like a very low key kind of almost little fair trade company of me and two other guys collecting them together. Within 24 hours escalated into this thing where I was almost like the CEO of a mini organization where I had a disconnect to the people doing all the work, or bribes were involved and money wasn't going where it should. And it kind of created a localized mini conflict in the area where something that had been worth nothing until I decided it had a value to me. Then I wanted to take that away, and then the repercussions of that locally and what occurred. So that would be one way of answering what you asked. And then next, obviously, the works are, a progression of what I've been doing for years, but specifically in this context, the flip-flops also feature in the works, and a lot of meat does as well. So I generally kind of discuss commodity and consumption at large in my work, and human uncomfortability.
And how do you want people to feel when they come to Johnny Just Come?
I never tell people how to feel when they come to my show. I leave that to the people who see it, but generally the reactions to my work tend to, be, there's a bipolar. You love it or you hate it, but in some ways you've been moved by it, and for me that's what good art is.